friend of the UFCW. He is an enemy of the Chinese government. He is a troublemaker. And brother and sister, he is Harry Wu.
Today, the most cheap product is come from China. Cheap products mean cheap labor. Cheap labor means cheap life. In 1957, I enrolled in university. I never involved politics. I play baseball. I'm the captain of the baseball team. I have a girlfriend. That's all my life.
During one political campaign, Let 100 Flowers Bloom, they were asked by the government to speak their minds. He criticized the Soviet invasion of Hungary. And he also said, and perhaps maybe more importantly, he said that Mao and the Communist Party treated the average citizen as second class. And boom, that immediately went into his file. When the crackdown came, he was picked up to meet the quota.
So I spent almost 2 decades, from 1960 to 1979, in Chinese labor camp. They call Laogai. It means labor and reform. Labor reform camps. I lost my freedom, lost my future, lost my dignity.
And when he was 20 years old, he thought about other countries' people. He thought about Hungarian people, not just thought about himself or something. Well, I found it's a kind of love. It's not just for himself.
So I received a number of the torture. They broken my arm, broken my back, broken my neck. But I always tell myself, protect your brand. I don't know when, but I think in the future, my brand will become very, very useful. Very useful, I think. And it's come true now.
When he came to United States in '85, he had only $40 in his pocket.
I'm 49 years old in 1985. I want to start my family, start my peaceful life.
If the label says made in China, what it doesn't say is made in China by prisoners in forced labor camps. Prisoners whose only crime may have been speaking out against the system.
I try to go back with CBS 60 Minutes. I want to bring the vision back to the whole world.
He agreed at great personal risk, since he's still a Chinese citizen, to go back with a hidden camera to do what no outsider has ever done before. Take pictures inside Chinese forced labor camps.
I travel in China just like a fish in the ocean. This is my place, my people.
In 1991, it was a very rudimentary setup, a camera in a bag with a hole cut out and Velcro covering it, and the bag was open, the hole was open. I don't know how he got away with it.
So when I ready for that, I always, take it away, and I put my hand like this and negotiate with them. If he didn't pay attention, I move my hand. The lens right here, filming it. It's very dangerous.
If they catch you doing this, what happens to you?
Go back to the camp again.
You could go back to prison.
Of course, they will put me back again.
From the outside, the Wuli machine tool factory in Zhejiang province looks part of China's smart new capitalist image. But behind the walls, it's another prison complex. Prison number 4 has won production medals in China, and the chain hoists made by these prisoners have been sold to the West. But human rights are not uppermost in the minds of the thousands of delegates making deals at Canton's trade fair. Cotton fabric manufactured from cotton picked by prisoners attracts eager buyers. Traders who find machine tools priced well below those made in the West are not concerned about where they come from.
He's obviously made the connection and made it firsthand because he spent 20 years in a prison labor camp in China. Has made the connection between work and the conditions under which products are manufactured and the companies that sell those products.
But what the world doesn't know is that in the 1991 trips and the 1994 trip, Jing Li was right next to Harry all throughout China, was secretly filming, was taking the very same risks that he was. And so she, too, has a truly extraordinary amount of courage, personal courage.
When I get back to China, my good partner is my wife, because we can trust 100%.
I understand what kind of person he is. He's so stubborn. Once he decides to do something, he just do it. And of course, I know what he's going to do is so important. And it's so meaningful. I should support him. Of course, I love him. He's my husband.
I think Walmart's the worst offender because they wrap themselves in the American flag. And many times they'll have American flags and signs that say "Made in America" over products that are actually made overseas. We think that Harry's efforts in pointing this out is very, very helpful to not only the people in China and those that are in those political camps, those 8 to 10 million people, but also the thousands of workers in this country that are losing their jobs because of imports from Chinese prison camps.
All the eagles and flags, and the cheers, and the Made in the USA signs help to hide some of the secrets of a store that says it buys American whenever it can.
Now this says right here, Made in the USA.
In stores full of American flags and Made in the USA signs, we found a lot of foreign-made clothes.
Made in Korea, made in China, made in Korea, made in China. Nothing here is made in the USA.
Bangladesh, a place of great poverty and misery, long condemned for its child labor abuses, has become a new source of cheap labor for Walmart. What we saw were 3 floors full of children, some as young as 9 and 10, making clothes for Walmart.
Flags, red, white, and blue. We buy American whenever we can, except when we can get it in Bangladesh. Made cheaper by kids.
Kids made this?
If they're producing in Bangladesh, you have to be using children.
Children, you and I might perhaps define children differently. In Bangladesh,
Should a 12-year-old girl be in school or making clothes for Walmart? Anywhere in the world.
no, a 12-year-old girl should not.
But they are. We saw them.
Well, we have not been able to substantiate that.
And I think it's had an adverse impact on Walmart, both in terms of the image that they have in this country, because you know, their image has been that the products that they sell are produced in America. Well, not only aren't they produced in America, they're produced under absolutely terrible conditions in Chinese prison labor camps and in factories that employ child labor.
I try to warning the Walmart, the products come from China, it's possible made by forced labor. And this violate your principle, also violate federal law. Walmart maybe is a very good supermarket, but if they don't care the products made by forced labor, made by blood and tears, this is not good. Yesterday in Seattle, I joined the protest in front of the Walmart. I think this is the first time American workers stand up in front of the Walmart and say, we don't want the products from China, which is possible, produced by forced labor. You not only think about your profit, you also have to care about your principle. But in 1995, I just want to try how much the Chinese could know about me. Some people say this is a trap, this is a setup. I take the challenge.
And I think it's too dangerous. So I basically, deep in my heart, I didn't want him to go.
I went to China in a far remote area, and this is my mistake. The border have the computer. They flag me out by the database and right away arrest me.
That was the most terrible days in my life.
The reason is just as the senior police later told me, we know sooner or later you are coming. We are waiting for you. We want to solve your problem. You have to know you are the #1 troublemaker. We know you are American citizens, so what? Don't waste the time, okay? We solve your problem. It means they want to silently illuminate it. But unfortunately, they cannot do it because my family, because my friend in the United States make a very big noise. My people in the union, my people in the Congress, everybody stand up. My neighbor, all the neighbors put on yellow ribbon, right? Americans really care about me.
Good evening. He is just one man, but he happens to be an American citizen who was held prisoner in China for 2 months until today.
China today suspended the 15-year prison sentence it handed human rights activist Harry Wu just yesterday.
Chinese officials expelled Harry Wu. He was put on a plane bound to...
I'm free. I'm free, he shouted. And if anyone could know the meaning of the words, it would be this man.
When Harry Wu returned to the United States last night, he says he didn't know whether his wife had been told he was on his way home.
I decided to rent a car, drive by myself, and make my wife surprised.
And I'm so happy. Yes, thank you very much.
My sisters and brothers, I am pleased to present to you one of the real heroes of our time, a dedicated defender of Chinese workers and a true friend of American workers, Harry Wu.
Thank you. I have crossed the line between the life and death several times. So no longer fear about death. But I was saved by the efforts of many people. But no other people were more important than those in American labor movement.
Harry's a quiet man. He's a gentleman, but he's a man of extreme conviction. Absolutely remarkable human being. Those kind of people that only come along once every decade or so.
Most people would want to forget that experience, put it behind them, and go forward. He can't forget. And it's that inability to forget and the desire to make sure that the nameless and faceless people that he left in those camps are represented that drives him. It's a positive force that drives him, not a negative force.
We want to stop it. And I hope our children, our children's children, will not repeat our experiences.